thank you so much for coming. As you know, the Secretary-General of the United Nations, António Guterres, he will be making some remarks and we will be taking a few questions afterwards. So please, sir, go ahead.
A very good afternoon to all of you. I'm very pleased to be in Baghdad once again, this time for the summit of the League of Arab States, in a moment that is a crucial moment for the region. The ground is moving under our feet in this region, but tectonic shifts are not a force of nature. The problems of violence and volatility are the result of concrete choices of people. And the solutions are also in the hands of decision makers. Solutions that, above all, are focused on making the most of the tremendous potential and opportunity throughout this region. We know the people of the Arab world demand and deserve a better future. The people of Lebanon, where the ceasefire and territorial integrity must be respected and all commitments implemented. The people of Syria, who need to see a path towards a political transition that is inclusive of all segments of the population, and the future of accountability, national healing, and further integration into the international community and the economy with the lifting of sanctions. The people of Yemen, who have been suffering from years of war and devastation and yearn for a peaceful future. And people in every corner of the Arab world which seek the same as those anywhere, a future of justice, dignity, human rights, security, peace, and hope. One issue is at the heart of the region's unrealized hope: the unresolved question of Palestine. A two-state solution, Israel and Palestine living side by side in peace and security, with Jerusalem as the capital of both states, is not just a vision, it is a necessity. That goal has never been more imperative, but unfortunately also never more distant. A two-state future is disappearing before our eyes, and we need to revert this trend. In Gaza, the situation of Palestinians is beyond description, beyond atrocious, and beyond inhumane. A policy of siege and starvation makes a mockery of international law. The blockade against humanitarian aid must end immediately. And I say again, nothing justifies the atrocious October 7 terror attacks by Hamas, but nothing justifies the collective punishment of the Palestinian people. We need a permanent ceasefire, the unconditional release of all hostages, the free flow of humanitarian aid, and an irreversible action towards a two-state solution. The high-level conference in June, co-chaired by France and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is an important opportunity we cannot lose. This is a moment for moral clarity and concrete action. The choices ahead will shape the region for years to come. We can and must rise to this moment with courage, unity, and vision. I'm convinced that the Arab world has the strength, the wisdom, and the opportunity to lead the way toward peace, dignity, and a future worthy of all these people. Shukran, and I am, as I said, at your disposal for some questions.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll start with a few questions. Please indicate your name and your affiliation. Please, sir.
محمد جبار من قناه العراقيه الاخباريه. سيد جوتيريش، يعني في ظل وجود المذابح في غزه والازمات في لبنان وسوريا.
Sorry, apparently there is here a device I wasn't aware of.
انا محمد جبار من العراقية الإخبارية. سيد غوتيريس مساء الخير أولا. أنا محمد جبار من قناة العراقية الإخبارية. في ظل وجود المجاعة في غزة والأزمات في لبنان وسوريا وليبيا واليمن، هل يمكن أن يجد تعاونا فعليا ما بين الأمم المتحدة والجامعة العربية لوضع حد لهذه الأزمات في المنطقة العربية؟
Well, just to give you an example, we had yesterday a very important meeting between the Secretary-General of the Arab League, the President of the Commission of the African Union, and myself. And we decided to work together, to have a regular contact among the three, to better coordinate all initiatives in relation to peace in Sudan. And at the same time, we will have in Addis, in an informal way, representatives of the three to prepare our meetings and to make sure that African Union, Arab League, and UN will work together for the peace in Sudan.
Thank you.
مساء الخير، زياد اسماعيل من الشبكه الفضائيه الاعلاميه. عندي سؤالين، سؤال اول، ما رايك في عمليه السلام بين حزب النهضه الكردستاني وتركيا؟ هل طلبوا منك طرفا او تلعب دورا في هذه العمليه؟ والسؤال الثاني، هل تمت المناقشه قضيه تركيا في سوريا؟ ماذا ستفعل القمه العربيه للحد في سوريا؟ شكرا.
First of all, I must say that I am impressed by the positive evolution in Iraq. Of course, there are still a few pending questions, but I'm totally confident that with dialogue and cooperation, those pending questions will be entirely solved. In Syria, it's very important to recognize that the Kurdish population in Syria is an integral part of Syria. I remember many years ago when I was trying to convince the Syrian government that statelessness of the Kurdish population had to be revoked. And fortunately today, all recognize that the Kurds in Syria are Syrian citizens, and the Syrian citizens, they must have full engagement in the political life of the country and the future life of the country. And I'm very hopeful about the conduction of dialogue between the leadership in Damascus and the leadership in the Kurdish region.
No, actually, please keep your question. سؤال من فضلك سأسأل. سمحت الأمين عم تسمح لي سأسأل وعلى ما يسأل الأسئلة متفق عليها أسمح لي أنا لدي سؤال. كصحفية سلمى الحاج من منصة بريف، لو سمحتي سأسأل من فضلك. سعادة الأمين العام دائما تدعو إلى احترام القانون الدولي، ومنظمتكم عاجزة عن تطبيق القرارات الدولية سواء بين الدول والنزاعات وخصوصا في بلادنا العربية أو حتى موظفين المنظمة لم تستطيعوا أن تحكموا في غزة. هذا أولا. السؤال الثاني، الحرب على غزة وما تلاها من هجوم الرئيس الأمريكي دونالد ترامب على الأمم المتحدة من أجل توفير تمويلها، هل هذا يعني بداية نهاية المنظمة ومنظومة القانون الدولي؟ من فضلك لو سمحت لي الإجابة على السؤالين وشكرا وعذرا على التدخل.
I didn't understand either. Please go ahead, sir.
No, just no. Yes, I couldn't understand what was it, the question.
The question was
Can you ask your question slowly because the translation didn't work? Slowly.
دائما تدعون الى احترام القانون الدولي سواء بين الدول وتحكيم النزاعات والحل السلمي، لكن عدم ابقاء قرارات المنظمه تذهب في مهب الريح، ولا سيما ان حتى موظفي المنظمه لم تستطيعوا ان تؤمن لهم الحمايه في غزه، ما جرى في غزه من ذلك بمجهود الموظفين للامم المتحده. هذا اولا. السؤال الثاني، ما يقول
للرئيس الامريكي دونالد ترامب على منظمه الهجوم. هل هذا بدايه لتقويض المنظمه ونهايه عمل هكذا مؤسسات؟ شكرا جزيلا.
Well, if I understood well the question, the UN had been consistently involved in humanitarian aid in Gaza, first of all. Second, the UN has been consistently advocating for Gaza to have a ceasefire and to end the terrible suffering of the Gaza people. We have been strongly condemning any attempt to move the population out of Gaza against their will, and we consider that Gaza must be part of a future Palestinian state. And in all these things, the voice of the UN has been clear, the voice of the UN has been constant, and we have shown our strong commitment to the people of Gaza. So this is a matter in which I believe we are doing the right thing, and I'm proud of the work the UN is doing.
Thank you. Please.
It's very hard to hear the Secretary.
Stan, could you speak to the microphone and
Could you please
The Secretariat of the United Nations has not the power to end the war in Gaza. The Security Council might have that power, but as you know, the Security Council is paralyzed by vetoes. What I can guarantee is that the Secretariat of the United Nations and the Secretary-General will not lose one single minute in the attempt to convince the whole of the international community that they must put pressure on Israel for the military operations to end and for a permanent ceasefire, together with the release of hostages and together with unlimited support to the population in Gaza. But on top of that, our position is also very clear, and we will be strongly engaged with France and with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the conference that is now being convened in June, a conference to mobilize the international community in defense of the two-state solution for Palestine.
thank you. Please, okay. Yes.
Two more. Sorry, I lost translation. Now I can hear you again. Do you mind starting again? First of all, in Iraq, we are proud that our mission will be able to end in the 31st of December of this year, which means that Iraq was able to progressively solve its problems, and we are confident that any pending situations will be able to be solved in dialogue by the Iraqis themselves. And so I think it's time for the mission to end, but the UN will remain in Iraq with its country team cooperating for the development of the country, and we will be providing also in relation to the elections, election assistance that might be required by the government of Iraq. In relation to the negotiations, according to the news, even if there were some positive aspects about prisoners exchange, there was not much progress in relation to peace in Ukraine. And we'll go on strongly advocating for a just peace. And the just peace is a peace in which the Charter is respected, the international law is respected, and the territorial integrity of Ukraine is respected.
Thank you. Could you stand up, please?
I must say that I have a love affair with the Syrian people. When I was High Commissioner for Refugees, the Syrian people has received almost 2 million Iraqi refugees. There were no camps in Syria. Refugees were with the communities, were with the families, and were treated in a way that really is a shame for those that sometimes much richer than Syria do not treat well refugees. And so I am emotionally linked to the will of seeing Syria united, with its territorial integrity respected, and with all communities of the Syrian society being able to be fully engaged in the political future of the country and fully participating in this political future and protected. I hope this will happen, and I also hope that the removal of sanctions will create the conditions not only for this positive, inclusive political development, but also for the Syrian people finally to have access to the development that is so necessary for the Syrian youth to regain hope.
Thank you so much, Mr.